Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Be the Media Huntington. Tonight is July 17th. I forget what day of the week it is because it's summer. And tonight I have with me Miss Dana
Hi, guys.
and Miss Lisa.
Hi, everyone.
And speaking of summer, is everybody else's body parts sticking to each other today? It's 93 degrees out.
Yep.
Gross. It really is. It really is nasty. This is the time when we need a pool that we can access, minus the other camps accessing other people using the one pool that we have access to.
Isn't that bullshit?
I think that's so unfair.
We have
And-
Dana's talking about the town pools that we have. We have town pools. They tell us we get a rec card. Go to the pool. We go to the pool. And who's there?
Camps.
All the kids. You can't go to the pool because you can't get in the pool.
And how many are there?
A lot.
No, how many pools are there?
One, I think, right?
And we have our sprinkler pad now.
What sprinkler pad, though?
The sprinkler pad that they put in to honor the police officer.
That's over there in Wine Dance, I believe, right?
No, we have one, I think, over in Elwood. Yeah, they gave it to Elwood to make up for giving them that high density housing. They said, "Oh, we'll give you a sprinkler bar."
Is it built? Is it built already?
Yeah, it's functional.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
The other one is beautiful.
Yeah. No, the ones on the South Shore are gorgeous, and they have several in their towns. They're cheap to build. They should be in every part of town.
I don't understand why I have to drive all the way to West Hempstead for my children to enjoy a private pool. It's really disturbing.
Especially today, it's so hot.
It is hot as hell.
Can I show you a product I discovered? I want you to know I'm not getting paid to plug this, and I want to remind everyone about us. We do not monetize our videos. We do not accept any type of advertising, and nobody paid me to say this. This kept popping up on Facebook. They're called Hot Girl Pearls, and you keep them in the cold. They come with their own little cool pouch that you freeze for 4 hours, and you put them in. They get cold, and then I look like Betty Rubble, right? And I have like these little ice cubes in here, and it's cooling. But they come in black and what was the other one, Lisa? Cobalt?
It's like a cobalt, like a slate gray.
So she likes that one. And these are the pearl ones. I got these to try them. So I figured, good timing.
How are they?
They're nice. I think it depends on how hot it is. The bag stays frozen for 4 hours, and I wore those today for like an hour. But again, I have a car, and it's stuck on stupid. I think somebody may be doing this to me on purpose, that my car is blowing out hot air. I have no AC, and I have it on off, and it's blowing. So I have all the windows open. There's hot air here. You got me with my Betty Rubble pearls on. It's just so hot. But anyways, I see the police. I can't complain because I see the men in blue out there. I saw some police officers out there in their full heavy uniforms, and it's dark blue in the heat. I know my husband works in a tuna can. He's a backhoe operator, so I find it hard to really complain. But Allotech on New York Avenue, who also did not pay for us to say this, will be taking care of my air conditioning on Friday. Yay!
Good. You need it. Definitely.
So tonight, what we wanted to do, this is our farewell episode, our summer farewell episode. We're going to be coming back to you in September, right before the election starts. So I'm really excited. We kind of wanted to talk about, we started with nothing, and we started 3 years ago covering the elections to kind of let people know how fusion voting worked and the cross endorsements in the political party. And we're still here. 3 years, we're entering our 3rd year, and I'm so proud of us. What do you guys
believe that?
Let's say something, girls. I mean,
that went so fast.
I went through and I kind of like looked through some of the stuff, and it's so funny. Like Dana's hair changes. I want to do a whole montage on just Dana's hairstyle, right? And then you've got me and Lisa we're shrunk. Just last year. In fact, you see one part where my face actually really blew up. I got fatter at one point. The sceneries have changed for all of us in different ways. You can see the holidays go up and go down, and it's just really funny.
Different cats on the chair.
But we've evolved. we've evolved, which I found really even more interesting. That we've evolved in our thoughts, our ideas, as new information has come to us. But I felt it important that we needed to say that we all speak for ourselves. Whenever anybody watches the show, I don't think Lisa should be judged by anything I say. I don't think Dana should be judged by anything I say, vice versa. In all cases, we're very diverse women from different areas, different walks of life, and we come here to give you our opinions. And a lot of time we come here with straight out facts to give you, which is great too. But we offer you a political pundit commentary on local issues that aren't being covered. And we're not getting paid to do so. So we don't have any editors coming to us and saying you can't cover that tonight. So we're very pure with that. So why don't you guys say a few things about where we've come over the last 3 years? Lisa, you start.
I don't know what to say. Dana, you go. I don't know what to say. I mean, you're right. I mean, we've come a long way. We started with just winging it. But yeah, I mean, we have our opinions. No, neither one of you make me say anything. I'm not influenced by anybody. It's my own thoughts. I mean, that's really all I have to say.
And you learned a lot too. I think we all learned a lot from
I'm
each other.
still learning. I'm learning all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
between local and national, there's just so much that I'm still learning. I'm a work in progress for sure.
How about you, Dana?
What could we? I mean, it's just so much that has happened. We've definitely grown in many ways. We clearly have our own thought process. While I don't always agree with what you ladies have to say, I do admire the respect that we do give each other. That is very important. A lot of people will say, how can you remain friends with people who are avid and very vocal Trump supporters? And my answer will always be, I was friends with them before Trump was president. I'll be friends with them after. I don't base a friendship off of who you voted for. Just like people often will ask me, how could a Black person, a female at that, be a Republican? Well, you just have to go by what you feel is right. And I like the fact that we come on and we each bring our own perspective. One thing I will say is that we verify the information. We don't just shoot off the dome. And if something is incorrect, we will retract the statement. So I think we do a good job at that. And you can tell that we've grown over the years. And it's interesting. It's interesting to find out who watches. It's interesting when you're, in full mommy mode and Stop and Shop, and somebody's like, "Oh, I saw you on the TV," and your kids are looking like, "I didn't know you were on TV." And I'm like, "Be quiet. Go get what you need to get for lunch." So those things are always interesting. But at the end of the day, we're still people. We still live in your community. We still have the same issues that you all have. We just may be a little bit more vocal.
And we all want the same things. We want our community to thrive and we want our children to be safe.
Yep.
Exactly. That is a very good point.
I want you to know I've really been working on not interrupting everybody. I do it to everybody, and it's a bad habit. It's part of who I am. If you go back and watch probably episode 2 and 3, you're going to be so proud of how far I've come, because and I do work on that. I'm sorry. I'm a work in progress. I do sometimes put the little sticky tabs that says slow down, because my brain is just, I'm trying to get it all out in a time period. And sometimes it comes across as being rude, and that's never my intention, because I love you guys.
I think people just don't understand. And for us, we don't look at it like that because we've been doing this for so long. So it's kind of, at least for me, it's like, well, that's just how she is. I don't see it as.
Yeah, she's just
I've never taken it personally.
It's just rude.
Yeah, I'm just like, how Jen, it's just like how that person is, or how Jenny is. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I take it. I don't really look at it any other way. honestly.
I wish people would pay attention more to the content and less about, the other parts of it. So like somebody made a really good point because you had brought up the Trump supporter piece. And I actually know a mom who has a son who is a Trump supporter, and he's in the closet often because it's not popular to do so. But the daughter goes to the pink hat parades, and the mother takes her there. So parades the daughter around because she believes in it. So I was having a conversation with this other mom about, just how what the damage that's probably been done with that relationship and how sad it is. And she said if her son had told her that she was gay, she would have accepted him. So why can't she accept him for having a different political view? And I thought that was just such a powerful statement there. It's really about acceptance.
It's sad that any parent would. I can't, certain things as a mother. We all know I have 5 children, and they are very different.
Right.
Very different. My oldest son is ultra conservative. I mean, ultra. My daughter, who's the second, she is ultra liberal.
Yeah, she is.
Save everybody.
I love your daughter, though.
She wants to
She's
save
great.
everybody. She would be at those detention centers letting everybody out, and my son would be in the back like, I don't think that's part of the rule.
They're not concentration camps. They're not.
So it's, I can't fault them for. I admire that they step out. I admire that they have chosen their own path, and I admire even more that they stand their ground. Yeah. He supports why he believes things should be A, B, and C, and then she supports why she feels as though things should be this way.
Right.
So I can't fathom a parent not loving a child because their sexuality, and I certainly can't understand a parent not supporting their child because of political belief.
It's the same like how, you may vote differently than me, but I love you because of you as a person. And I love the things that we have that are in common, but also that are different because they complement each other. So, that I'm not going to have a great conversation with somebody who thinks exactly the way I do. That's boring. That's me talking to myself.
That's very true.
Yeah, I want to have conversations with people who are going to keep it civil, aren't going to scream, but are going to talk about the issues in a very civil way. And I think that was one of the goals that we had said that we wanted to do when we started doing the show.
Yeah, it was. I think we achieve it.
So Lisa, what was your favorite episode, you think, looking back over the last 3 years?
Oh, I wish I knew these questions. I would have prepared a little bit.
No. All right, go to Dana.
Yeah, I mean, if I really had to pick one, it would be really number one, and I have referenced back to number one because it's where you were talking mostly about stuff I didn't understand, and I'm still learning, and I still forget and have to go back to it, which was about all the parties.
The different party lines.
The different party lines and how it all works.
Yeah.
The party of one.
Yeah.
It's crazy and
the technical term is
probably is my favorite one.
I like the one where we all got up and we were so desperate to get the information we couldn't get together that we did the midnight musing show. That was one of my favorite ones.
I remember that.
But we've evolved where we went and we were live from some fundraisers.
Yep.
We started doing some compelling episodes where we took people on scenes to bring them things that maybe they would not have otherwise seen. When we did Heartland, which isn't up yet because it's waiting for approval from their group. It was really great, by the way. But we did the one on the Historical Society. I love that one.
That was so much fun too.
Do you remember when we went to Fort Salonga and we covered all that stuff and you found chipmunks, Dina?
That ran across my foot.
Yes.
Jurassic Park was in full effect. How can I forget?
We have done so many neat things and we brought so many things to so many people that when somebody comes to me with such a small complaint, I try to remember the big picture of what we're really doing here and how far we've come. So, and it's funny, if you go to our YouTube channel and you look at it, you'd be like, they've only got so many views and so many subscribers.
Yeah.
And you don't look at the big picture. We are a small town doing a big thing in a small town. If you added up two of the bigger ones, which would be the town of Huntington has their page, and Huntington Matters. We're going to talk a little about them probably tonight. We have more subscribers on YouTube than they do combined. And what's interesting is we'll get maybe somewhere between, depending on, you know, the season and whatever, 30 to 70 views on YouTube. And that's from when we sign off until the morning, because then we put it on Facebook Live. And on our Facebook Live show on Huntington View, we get hundreds, if not thousands of views off that page.
Mhm.
And the reason I reiterate this is because people have said to me, well, your YouTube, and you don't understand that we have a whole way that we spread this because people get their information differently now. And it has become very, very impactful since the beginning. And we never know what people are going to want to see. Dana, you and I were talking about this before. We did this really awesome show. We put together all this facts and data show. I forget what it was about because, you know, it didn't take off and whatever. We all worked really hard. We did our homework. And then I went down on New York Avenue and I did like a 22-second video about the sidewalks that the homeowners association had to put in a second set.
Right. I remember that.
And people were in my inbox yelling at me. That clip, thousands of views. Meanwhile, the other one got like 300 when we put it on. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe we should just go out and bitch about sidewalks. But it's not about views because we don't get paid per click. It's about the travel and the information and how people get it.
I agree with that 100%. I think we just give people what they want in the way that they want it, and because we're all different, we can offer a POV for a variety of people. I'm sure you have people who tune in to hear your thoughts, Lisa, the same, as well as myself. So that's always interesting.
I think I have more people that join in to watch to wait for me to screw up to have something to use against me. So my hater fans, I would refer to them as, they're just trying to collect evidence. Speaking of hater fans, I know you guys both got this look on your face like, shit, where are we going? We know it too well. Oh, goodness. So I heard, so we have a couple interesting week. The Patch, which is a local story, a local place where people go to get their media. People consume their media differently now. And because we live in a small town, we don't have any small TV channels giving you news about what's going on. So we rely heavily on the small newspapers like Huntington Now, which isn't really a newspaper, it's just a website. The Observer, Lisa picked that up today. A couple of the smaller town newspapers, the Long Islander, which really isn't have much publication anymore.
The Times, I saw.
The Times. So people are really going to social media now and going to Facebook pages to try to get their local information because they don't, you know, that's the void we're starting to fill. So it was interesting. The Patch did an article and said Facebook pages that you want to join. And it put Parents of Huntington, which, by the way, I've run for like 8 years. I try to keep it censor free. I believe people need someplace to have a free speech zone. And they put it up as, this is a page you should have to join. And we were the only local page. I found that very interesting. Now, there are a few more. There's Huntington Matters. There's Huntington Station Matters, which is comprised of all the people who were kicked out of Huntington Matters in the beginning. There's a new, completely left-wing, going to kick you out and shut you up, Huntington Voices. There used to be what was Citizens for Huntington Village, but they shut down.
Yeah.
But other than that, those are the only, you know, you got Huntington Moms on a Budget. And Dix Hills, there's a lot of mom pages, but they keep that's really where they just sell their clothes and kids stuff when it doesn't fit anymore. It's not, they don't really nobody's getting into the heart of the conversations.
No.
So Huntington Matters went on a censorship spree right after the ICE raids this weekend. Do you remember that? Go ahead, pick it up.
No, I was banned. So I was blocked for calling an MS-13 member a dirtbag. I guess many, many, many weeks ago, I was banned for hate speech by the liberal admins. So barf on that one, and that's all I have to say about them. It's disgusting.
Okay,
Really.
well, we had the ice raid started on Friday, even
Right.
though it was announced that they were going to start on Sunday. No, that's not a mouse. Those are my ferrets running around. So the ice raid started on Friday. No, it is scattering. Because they're making too much noise over there. See over there. And apparently, June, who works with the second precinct and is a community liaison and just got an award for helping the police and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
was putting up notification to help anybody who had ice coming to the house, that how to get it out of it or whatever. And meanwhile, they weren't raids. These were people who went to court. A judge ruled that they were guilty of the crime and ordered their deportation. So they had targeted people that they were removing out of the
There was
country.
a list. There was a list of people, not your average Susie Q walking down the street.
Exactly, but they were
in a paddy wagon. For God's
but
sake.
they were beefing up that kind of fear with what they were saying. So June put that notification up, and all of a sudden I started seeing all these other people outside of it complaining that they're deleting anybody that's saying anything pro law enforcement on the thread. Anything pro Go ICE or anything else, they're deleting it and setting a narrative.
Yeah.
And then they turned around that night and made a new rule. There will be no political posts on this page whatsoever. They're gonna they're gonna censor themselves out of existence.
It's just, it's really, I mean, who the hell do they think they are? It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing how controlling they are.
Uh-huh.
They are, what a bunch of control freaks.
Yeah.
It's out of control. It's out of control.
I still don't know what they do. They do. What do they do? I saw that too.
I saw on Chipperdale's face.
Yeah. So I don't go there. I don't look anymore. But I hear so many other people pained over it because they still use the page to get information. Yeah, that's it, Dana. That's it. Yeah, it's not a mouse. It's okay.
It's a ferret.
By the way, Dana, they eat mice.
What? Why you can't have normal pets? What's wrong with you?
It's not a chinchilla.
I mean, we're gonna have to have a talk off the air because you need normal pets. They eat mice.
wait, it's better to kill the mice myself?
I can't. Just keep talking. I can't. I cannot. Something is definitely not right.
Yes, that's okay though. So, so the biggest censorship pages that we have now is Huntington Matters and Huntington Voices, which is just so funny because you think about the names and it's such an oxymoron at this point.
Yeah.
And I think everybody knows it at this point, unless they agree with the political. And it's not even left anymore. It's far left. It's progressive left. It's as far as you can get. But it's interesting that they silence the voices they need to be hearing the most. Those are the ones they need to be talking to because we're not going to move forward as a nation under the current level of discourse that we have by pretending we don't exist.
Don't they want to unify? Don't they want to bring together everyone?
No,
Don't they be responsible for that?
No, I just want to control you on this Facebook page. I actually drove by June's house, not, like on purpose, and I'm stalking her just because I go to the deli right over there and she lives in. I used to buy plants from her. I used to know June. We used to be friendly. She actually had her plants were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She used to run in Huntington Gardens. She would sell her plants. They were big. They were beautiful. They produced such vegetables. Her garden is completely overrun. The amount of neglect there, I can't even imagine. Like
she's on Huntington Matters controlling it. How many hours a day?
So if her plants are neglected,
how else can she do anything else when she's constantly controlling everyone, every word, every conversation, 23 hours a day?
I know.
Obsessive. It's disgusting. It really is.
Oh, real quick, because we're only going for 45 tonight. Lisa, you had some things that you just wanted to talk about that happened at the town board meeting yesterday that you heard of.
I heard that at the town board meeting, there were some issues with Torkin, the developer for the Villadom, that he was back and proposing a lighter version of Villadom. And that's all I know. I didn't check out the whole thing. So
That's probably going to,
it's one thing that over the summer, in the next weeks to come, it's definitely something that people should be looking for and asking about. I know I will be. And also continued eyes on our water condition, our water quality. So before we come back in September, it's something that
I think that's all to blow up around September.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, only thing I would like to discuss, because I mean, there's a few things, especially since we're going to be away for 6 weeks. I'm so confused as to who our community activists actually are. And I had to make a post this morning on my personal page, because you can't identify with the community if you're not from the community. I can't tell you about affordable housing if I've never experienced that type of lifestyle. I can't tell you what's affordable if I make 6 figures, because what's affordable to me is not going to be affordable to someone that makes $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
I can't, you can't speak for me if your concern is maintaining someone's property. Okay, I have real issues. I have real children. My concern is that they don't get hurt going to and from activities or going to and from school. I can care less about a business not having their lawn mowed or whatever. That's not my concern. And when I speak to these politicians, it amazes me of who they take guidance from. And the next thing I noticed, which is really, really sad, the biggest and the loudest mouths get put on boards, right? And
Yes.
I'm gonna lay it
Shut them
all.
up.
I'm
It's
going
to
to
shut
lay
them
it.
up.
I'm going to lay it all out. They put them on the boards, and they only put African Americans on, only certain African Americans on certain boards. They're quick to put us on boards that are not paid, but we only get to reach but so much of a level. And then you have the loudmouths that magically get put on boards and then they have a stipend. I have a problem with that, because now when you get on the board, your voice is now different from what it was from before.
Yep.
So you change now. I just really have a problem with all of that. And I have a strong feeling that this year's election, a lot will change, because a lot of the people that some of us supported wholeheartedly last election, we won't even look their way, because they've done some underhanded things that have come to light. You can't ask for support from a community and then degrade the community that you're asking support from at the same time. Make no mistake, most of us did not forget the Huntington High School issue. Most of us did not forget the whole recent ICE issue. We didn't forget a lot of things. You may think we didn't forget. You may think we forgot. And this election, I have a funny feeling, because of who's running, we're going to have a lot of troops on the floor knocking on doors, asking for personal favors from people that we live amongst. And I'll be the first one to say, I'll be the first one doing that. I will, for the first time, ask people in my community to vote for who I think is best for town council. Because right now, we are in a whole load of mess.
So let me ask you this, because you touched on the affordable housing component, and then of course we went into the you did with the gang incident with Huntington High School, where we got literally no one so to help us with that issue. So I just want to query you this: do you believe that maybe government is so big that they can't do any one thing effective? And why would they be involved in micromanaging affordable housing for anyone if they can't take care of the basics, which is keeping us safe?
I believe that government, the particular government that we have, is out of touch.
Completely.
I believe that there are cultural issues. I believe there are economic issues. You cannot tell me as a single mother of children in college that you understand my my pain, and you're going to vacation in the Hamptons. We vacation maybe in Virginia. We don't go to the Hamptons. You know what I mean? You can't begin to
Every
tell
week.
me
Every week, all
You-
summer.
and then you can't tell. And this is what really started me to really start looking into things. I'll be very honest. It was that Vision 2020. And I had a conversation via Facebook with a woman. I think her name is Brandy Bailey. And she brought up the fact that, it's too much. So I then went to start looking at stats, and she's actually, she has a lot of good points. And how can you talk to me about this kind of push when Huntington has 57% economically disadvantaged children,
I was
and
going to
South
say
Huntington has
she's in a more
53.
desperate situation than you.
Yeah,
So
so
the person that you spoke with, yes.
and we here at South Huntington have 53%. So how can you tell me that this is going to be good, and more than half of the percentage of who you're trying to sell it for is economically disadvantaged? I just cannot wrap my head around it. So then you start to look, and then you look and see who's on the affordable housing, or who's in the housing authority. How the hell are you going to be an attorney living in Lloyd Harbor and you're on the housing authority? You lived in housing before? No. How are you going to be, retired, living off the hog, and now you're on affordable? Now you could tell me what's affordable living in the community.
But they needed to fill the quota of diversity.
Yeah, but you didn't fill the quota just because you have one token black man that don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And then you got a Hispanic. That all they care about at this point is the visual end of it.
Well, that has to stop, because now everybody's looking like, we still in the same boat. So what's going on? And while you telling me you want to argue about some damn light show, I'm trying to figure out why I can't send my kid to a regular summer school program, because the summer school is jam-packed with who knows what.
And you're pissed off about a boat event that only 1,200 people in the town are going to go to, because I can't afford a boat. I can't even afford like a kiddie pool. Well, I things have gotten better for me. I can afford a kiddie pool. My dog got one.
But seriously, that's what we talk about. You worried about some boat show? I don't care about those elite people and their boat show. I care about my son, my black male son, walking amongst the street and one of these MS-13 boys messing with him. So I don't send him to the public school out here. I have to go now send him to a private school and still pay for the public school that's going on. Let's talk about that.
Have you noticed that the gang issue, it doesn't exist? It's funny, because do you know how they passed the mandatory measles vaccination?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, the problem's solved, even though nobody's got their shots, nobody's been mandated, and nothing. There's no emergency now. There's no outbreak. It's all gone.
Yep, it's done.
Right?
Yep.
Just like the other crisis you were just talking about, the MS-13, because there's no blood on the street. It doesn't exist.
Well,
that's because, they're not living in the woods anymore. They're living in abandoned homes now.
No, they're still living in the woods.
And abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
Right.
But then these same people will complain about ICE raids.
Right. And you can't call the MS-13 members dirtbags, because that's hate speech.
That's hate speech.
That's hate speech.
It always makes me look at people. I don't agree with children being mistreated in any aspect. I'm totally against that. That's so, for me, I separate that from the immigration laws, because children are helpless. But at the same token, if they tell you that we have 57% of our own children that are disadvantaged, how the hell are we trying to help people at a border and we can't help people in the town? How do we do that? And how do you justify that?
But by encouraging an open border policy, they're putting more children in danger.
Yep.
Forget, you can't take care of the children you have here. Telling you can't.
No, you can't. You can't. What do you do?
You're telling me to help somebody else. I can't help my neighbor.
Well, Huntington Manors just shared a post. They're looking for backpacks and they're looking for school supplies.
Because you know why? That's all stuff that's
Mhm.
that's self-inflating behavior. It's stuff I can do publicly. People think I'm a good person, and I feel like I'm a good person because I'm organizing, and although these things are good, I
Yeah.
agree with Dana. Our kids can't go to the pool
Right.
because the town-run camps use them, and they're town-run camps that you have to pay money for. And the people that she's referring to, I understand what you're talking about, Dana,
Mhm. I
can't
know.
even afford that. We
I
can't afford the $20 rec card, and then on top of it, we have to get there. I'm not saying but
I know what you mean. Yeah, you're on the right track. You got to get there. You got to
they
pay
don't.
to get
They
there.
never put anything over in the areas where they know it needs. How many times I screamed for two? I'm gonna go off now. The sprinkler park. And I didn't say anything about the sprinkler park because they named it after a cop that got killed in the line of duty, which is extremely honorable. But understand, when Avalon Bay came along, I started saying, why are we building all this stuff when we can't take care of our own people? Why can't we take the park over here and turn it into the one right down on Tower Street, on Tower, in the middle of all this spot? Build us a sprinkler park. It's very cheap. It'll create jobs for local kids, blah, 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 blah. Avalon Bay gets built. Guess what goes in next? Now we start the Elwood fight. Elwood fight goes on. Still don't have a sprinkler park over here. But let me tell you, Glenda Jackson, this is how far back this goes. And
Mhm.
Susan Garland run for office again. They both run on, and we're going to get you sprinkler parks like everywhere. Yeah, Glenda didn't get elected. Susan got elected, never put in a sprinkler park. Then Tracy ran with Mark, right? And she actually went and checked out sprinkler parks. So then Elwood happens. There's this big fight at Elwood and all this stuff. Elwood gets put in, the community gets divided, all hell breaks loose. They say, oh, part of your community benefits package, we're going to give you a sprinkler park in Elwood. We've been fighting over for Huntington Station for years. So Tracy Edwards, who got unelected, ooh, storm's coming. Yay. Did you see that? So Tracy
Oh.
Edwards, yeah, you just got the boom over there.
Oh yeah.
Tracy Edwards says, I'm going to do a sprinkler park in Elwood and Huntington Station. She wanted to do both. I was upset over that because, again, Huntington Station needs a sprinkler park. I don't want to hear about some sort of deal because you're upset about Elwood. We should have had it years ago. There's no excuse. We have the parkland that we already own. I digress.
You made good points, but let me tell you this: it is the peoples of Huntington's fault that Susan Berlin was not held accountable for the promises that she made.
Yep.
It's the people who voted fault because you did not want to have this Black woman as your supervisor, so you put somebody else in. That's your fault. So now you're going to deal with the outcome of what happens. People need to stop thinking emotionally and look at actual records. How about that? And then start voting according to that.
Yep.
Forget about what the person looks like. Forget about their political lines. Forget about what you heard. Do your own research. Because if you did that prior, we wouldn't be in the shithole we're in right now. We don't have a sprinkler park. We can't afford this. The town,
you can't go to the pool.
You can't do anything. The town is hiring people at $120,000 because you're friends, but then you firing people that make $60,000 that's struggling. I don't understand all this, but you know what? Y'all wanted that new direction. Y'all got that new direction. I bet you didn't think it was gonna be that direction, but you got what you asked for, and it's good for you. It's good for you. Now, how do we rectify it? Because nobody I know, and I'm talking about in all levels, is happy. No one.
I think most people thought the new direction was no more apartments. And I'm going to give them a little credit that most of the shit that went in so far was stuff that was done under the previous administration, and I get that. But they had the power to come into office and put a moratorium in. That didn't happen.
Some of it. It wasn't set in stone.
Yep.
What are you doing for our veterans? You threw up some crappy houses. Let me tell you something. My dad was a veteran, and if my mom and my dad didn't have the jobs that they had and had the health insurance that they had, my dad would not have lasted 11 years. He would not have the care that he had. They do our veterans so dirty that it's disgusting, but yet
But they
we
use
depend
them.
on them.
They
Exactly.
use them.
They use them and, oh, we're for the veterans and we're for this. Listen, enough is enough. You fooled me a few times, but now I got to see the real deal, and there's no whole. I mean, I'm still conservative in a lot of ways. I don't, but now I'm angry because now I feel as though you lied to me to my face. And let's not begin to talk about the CDA. Let's not talk about. Let me not digress. Let me save that
No,
for election time.
I feel lied to and cheated and used by every single one of them. All the damn parties, all the damn lines, whatever line you want to fancy yourself on. I feel used and abused by every single one of them. They're all a bunch of liars.
It's a lot to be desired, and it's unfortunate that we are at this point that we're at. But until we, as the people, stop all the bullshit and stop having people talk for us, I'm not saying that twerking is not an issue, but what you're building over there is not going to keep my kids safe or your kids safe. We need to address those issues first.
Yeah, but it's still the water thing. I don't want to hear that it's smaller.
And you can't determine. One thing I don't like is because your fight is, let's say your fight is the Villadome and my fight is ADA. You can't tell me my fight is smaller than your fight because it's the Villadome, because that's not true. Because the Villadome is what you're passionate about. The ADA is what I'm passionate about. I'm not going to tell you what you're saying is wrong, but you damn sure not going to tell me that my point of view is wrong too. No, you're not going to do that. We can't coexist. And that's what we have in this town. A lot of that. And you have people that attack people. Really?
But they also believe that you need to be a one-issue voter, and we're able to multitask, especially as women. When you think about what we pull off in the course of a day, okay, and you're going to tell me that I only need to be focused on one issue, and that's the issue that's important to you, you have no idea how busy my brain is and what I'm able to accomplish when I put my mind to it.
That's one of the biggest things that I really don't care for, and that makes me think less of the people who try to do that. I'm sorry. I try not to judge people, but when I see that and I see them attacking other people, that really gets my goat.
When they're like, where were you when, and where were you with Avalon Bay? What am I going to do? Hold this against you for the rest of your life?
I wasn't involved in. Remember, I came in.
I'm not. No, I know when I met you. It's cool. I met you before. Oh, no, it's fine. I wasn't blaming you. This is what people say, and I was the face of Avalon Bay. I was the person that was out there the most. So when other people are out there saying, well, I'm not going to help you with your issue because where were you for Avalon Bay? How long do you carry that torch of guilt for?
And Avalon Bay may not have been your issue, or you may have felt one way about that. That doesn't mean we can't get together about the trees that they're putting down. That just means on that particular issue, for whatever reason, we didn't agree. Once that issue is over, I think we should be adult enough to go address another issue.
Don't get it. Or you can actually, you can go in. What are agendas? Agendas are how you organize discussion items of what you need to deal with in that moment. And there's never just one idea on an agenda. Right. Otherwise, why would you have an agenda?
It's very true. It's very true. And you just have to be like, I don't understand what these people think we're going to do. And I don't know how much longer people are deciding to fight amongst each other. But for this election, I'm really going to try to rally people together so we can select the best person for town council. That's what I'm going to try to do.
Man, can you remind people, since we're going to be off for the next 6 weeks, can you guys remind everybody exactly who's running for what?
We have no idea. We don't care anymore. They all suck.
No. We have there's 2 seats up for town council. We have 2 seats that are available, 4 people running. We have Joan Sergel and Kathleen Cleary for the Democratic ticket, and for the Republican and Independent ticket, we have Andre Sarantino and Jean Cook. So those are the 2 parties those are the 4 main things that I think we should focus on, because it affects us immediately. And Andre, I had the pleasure of sitting down with him and having a one-on-one conversation with him recently. And I must say his record speaks for himself.
I'm voting for Andre. We don't even, we just skip everything. I'm voting. You're not going to change me at this point. He's my guy.
He is very, he leaves a lot to be, he's really true blue, and his record speaks. He made everyday mistakes like we did. He talks like everyday people. He dresses like everyday people. He knows everyday people's struggles. He's one of the few people that when he does things like look at his turkey drive, go look and see at the pictures. You don't see him hugged up. And when you see him in those pictures, he looks like everybody else. He's not.
He is your everyday guy. He's your town people guy.
So he really makes you. He brings a lot of freshness, and we need
and his
that.
wife is gorgeous. Not that that matters. His wife is gorgeous.
I need you to get your life together because
she is. She's pretty, and his family is just so pretty. He has a beautiful family, and he's a car guy. He's a truck guy. Yeah. He knows people from all walks of life. Like he's part of our community.
He is.
That's why you're not going to change my mind at this point.
And there's a lot of people that can identify with him, and what I like about him is that he actually sits down. And I said to him, you know what? I'm going to tell you this, and I've never said this out loud, but besides Dom Spada, you were the only one that ever invited all 3 women for The View to your fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was calm. You didn't, you just told us to come to hear what you had. The only one other than Dom Spada.
Do you know how much I would admire the people who we don't, well, me, not you, because you've been on the other side a few times. I was only on the other side with Daryl St. George, I think, that one time with the primary, but you were on Sturgill's side. So we definitely bounce around. And I think people hate that about us because we bounce around. You're like, no, you can't put me in your box at all.
No, you can't. And if I go for someone, right, and I go hard for you. But if you cross me, and then you try to lie and cover it up, and somebody comes and gives me concrete information, that is probably the worst thing you can do.
Destruction.
The worst.
Trust.
The worst thing you can do, because there's no coming back from that.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. So now it is, it is what it is in my point of view. And we will have a very interesting election.
I have to tell you, I would actually have a lot of respect for the campaign that knows that I think very differently and still reached out and comped all of us to come and hear their message.
What can you say? And
I'd have a lot more respect for you that you actually are willing to reach across the aisle for the whole community, which shows that you want to represent the whole community, especially those that you don't agree with.
And that's what we need, and we're missing that wholeheartedly.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to the other things that are going on, but I won't lie, I will be focusing on that and the Vision 2020. I'm focusing on those 2 things.
Yeah. It's like the magnet, right? When you have the magnet, and when you reach across the aisle, you're putting opposites to each other. But when you turn that magnet around, they push away from each other, and you never accomplish anything ever, because that's just the laws of physics.
It is what it is, It's just we just have to get back to what we need to do as people. I wish that we could just erase the whole Trump situation.
No.
I'm being honest, because if we didn't have that, not him as a president, I'm talking about the back and forth and who wasn't friends with this one because they voted.
Oh, yes.
If we could get rid of all of that, I think we would have so much more unity. I don't care if you like him, if you don't like him. Just let's get past that and focus on our community. Right? I don't care who you voted for in the presidency.
That just support your country, support your town, and you support the person who's in the office because they're representing your country or your town.
No, people need to get past the fact that federal elections are very different than your local elections. Yeah. You're more likely to run into your local representative who's going to pass a beach law that's really going to impact you. At the grocery, you're going to run into this person while you're driving. Hopefully you don't run them over and go to jail. Depends.
Right. Or give you crappy sunscreen.
Oh my gosh. I was in Fire Island. there's there's stations for you to grab bags for your dog poop. There's deer stations where they can get food, but there's no sunscreen stations. None. And I hope Susan Berlin doesn't get her hands on this.
I don't think they'll welcome her.
It's unnecessary. I mean, when you think of a high-end island like that, really, so
Oh,
strict.
hey, Susie, the one at Crab Meadow is empty again.
Oh. Well, she's not responsible anymore.
Oh, no.
She's in legislation.
Yep, I know.
But she was just with Malone talking about the whole sunscreen
Well, because
thing.
now that's Suffolk County. She doesn't have to worry about what Huntington's doing. That's Suffolk County,
Right.
We need to get it
which
together.
I guess now I'm going to get sunscreen on Fire Island. That's going to suck.
I don't think they'll welcome her with open arms with that. I'm sorry. Just my thought. Could be wrong, but hey, we'll see.
So anything you guys want to say before we go away for our summer break and then come back with our baseball bats for right before the election of 2019?
I'll miss you guys. I look forward to coming back. You know, always drop us a line if you think we should do a show on something. Inbox us. We're very quick to get back to you. And enjoy the rest of your summer.
Lisa?
Just enjoy the rest of your summer. Stay safe. Stay cool. Don't drink water.
Wear sunscreen. I want to thank everybody, every single person who gives us a like, a share, a view. We do this for you guys. We knock ourselves out and bend over backwards to come here because every time you give us a view, a like, a share, a comment, you're encouraging us to bring you more. You guys are the fuel to our vehicle, and we do this all for you. And you are the driving force behind everything. And we appreciate everyone who watches our show. And we hope to see you guys in September. So we hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
See you in September.